Daf Yomi tractate Bava Batra, page 121b. We're talking about the reason of the good things that happened, the reason why 15th of Av is significant, or the various good things that happened on 15th of Av. And we're in the middle of a sentence of Amar Mar from the previous Amud. Amar Mar ad shelo kalu masei midbar. Now we're at the top of 121b. Lo haya dibor im Moshe shenemar v'hi kasher tamu kol anshei hamilchama lamus b'kerev ha'am v'samich lei v'yidaber Hashem Eli lemor Eli haya hadibor. God did not speak with Moses, as it says, so it came to pass. It said basically, as long as those were designated to perish, God didn't speak with Moses. What it says here, so it came to pass when all the men of war were consumed and dead from among the people, Deuteronomy 2:16, and juxtaposed to that verse it is written, as the Lord spoke to me saying, Deuteronomy 2:17. The Lord spoke to me saying, Moses indicates that only after the last of that generation had died was the speech of God directed to me. When the Jewish people realized that the decree had been lifted, the day was established as a permanent day of rejoicing. Kula Amar, Yom shebitil bo Hoshea ben Eile paradisois shehoishiv Yerovam al hadrachim shelo yalu Yisrael. The Gemara continues to cite explanations for the significance of the 15th of Av. Ula says the 15th of Av. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Machzor. Moshe Eliezer. So tired, y'all. Super tired. Okay. Show must go on. Okay. The Gemara continues to cite explanations for the significance of the 15th. Okay, Ula says, the 15th of Av was the day when King Hoshea, son of Elah, removed the guards, the Paradisot, that Jeroboam, the son of Nevat, placed on the roads so that Israel would not ascend to Jerusalem for the pilgrimage festival. By doing so, King Hoshea renewed the access to Jerusalem for pilgrims. Rav Masna Omar Yom Shednitnu Haruge Beit Harlikfura. Dam Rav Masna Oso Hayom Shednitnu Haruge Beit Harlikfura Tiknu Beyavne Hatov Hametiv Hatov Shelo Hisrichu Hametiv Shenit Likfura. Rav Masna says the 15th of Av was the day when the slain victims of Beitar were afforded burial. Several years after they were killed, and the Roman Emperor Hadrian decreed that they were not to be buried. See Gittin 57a. As Rav Matana said, on the day that the slain of Beitar were afforded burial, the sages in Yavne instituted a blessing. Blessed is he who is good and who does good. The term who is good is to give thanks that the corpses did not decompose despite the long delay. And the term and who does good is to give thanks that the slain ones were ultimately afforded burial. Rabbi of Yosef to Amri Tarvayu, Yom Sheposkin Bo, Milichros Eitzim Lemarocho. Tanya, we learned in a Braise. Rabbi Eliezer Hagad Eloimel, Kevan Shegiach Hamisha Asur Be'ov, Toshash Koicha Shel Chamo, V'lo Hoyu Kol Sineitzim Marocho, Amar Rav Menashe V'Kol Olei, Yom Tavar Magal. Rabba and Rav Yosef both say the 15th of Av is a day when they stop cutting wood for the arrangement of wood on the altar. It is taught in a Braita that Rabbi Eliezer the Great says, once the 15th of Av came, the force of the sun would weaken, and from this date they would not cut additional wood for the arrangement, because the woodcut from then on would not dry properly and would be unfit for use in the temple. Rav Menashe said, and the people called the 15th of Av the day of breaking the sickle, Magal, as they did not need the lumbering tools until the following year. Ikan be'ilach de Mosif, Yosef, Sheina Mosif, Yosef, Ma Yosef, Rav Yosef, Tikbrame. It's interesting that most of Yosef, and then someone chimes in, his name is Rav Yosef. I think it's cute. Interesting. Shabbat B'chazal. Moshe Ilu Yachzol. The Gemara adds, from this point forward, when the nights lengthen, one who adds to his nightly Torah study will add to his life. And he who does not add, the person is Yosef. What is the meaning of Yosef? Or Yosef teaches, it means his mother will bury him. It means as he will die during his mother's lifetime. Ouch. Tanu Rabbonon. Wir haben gelernt in der Breise, Shiva Kiplu es Koloim Kuloi. Yesu Shelach Odom. Shem Ramusu Shelach. Yaakov Ros es Shem. Amram Ros Yaakov. Achia Sheloini Ros Amram. Eliyahu Ro es Achia Sheloini. Verdain Kayam. After discussing the generation of those who died in the wilderness, the Gemara mentions a tradition that relates to that generation. The sages taught 7 people spanned in their lifetimes the whole world in its entirety, meaning their lives have spanned all of human history. Methuselah, this week's parsha, very nice, saw Adam in his lifetime. Shem saw Methuselah. Jacob saw Shem. Amram saw Jacob. Achia Shiloni saw Amram. Eliyahu saw Achia Shiloni, and Elijah is still alive. Achia Shiloni ra et Amram. V'haketiv lo notar behem ish, ki im kalev v'nifnei Yehoshua v'nun. The Gemara asks, and is it true that Ahijah the Shilonite saw Amram? But it is written, and no man among them remained save Caleb, son of Yefuneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. Numbers 26:65. Since Amram died well before the Jewish people left Egypt, in order to have lived at the time of Amram, Ahijah would have had to be an adult at the time of the Exodus. How then could he have lived through the generation of those who died in the wilderness? Of Rav Hamnuna, lo nigzar ze al shivta shel Levi, dichtiv, b'midbar hazeh yiplu pigrechem v'chol pikudechem, l'chol misparchem, mben 20 shana v'malo. Mi shebekudav mben 20, yotzer shivta shel Levi, shebekudav mben 30. Rav Hamnuna says the degree of death pronounced for the generation of the spies was not decreed on the tribe of Levi. As it is written, your carcasses shall fall in the wilderness, and all those who are counted among you according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward. Numbers 14:29. The verse is interpreted that the decree applies to one whose count is in the census. The census is from the age of 20 and up, excluding the tribe of Levi, whose count is from the age of 30 and up. Ahijah was a Levite, and he was not subject to the decree. Caution. Umishar Shvatim lo Yael. V'atanya Yael ben Menashe, Umachir ben Menashe, noldu b'yemei Yaakov. ולא מאסו עד שיכנסו ישראל לארץ. שנאמר ויעקב מהם אנשי העי כ36 איש. והתניא 36 ממש. דברי רב יהודה. The Gemara asks, and is it true that no one from the other tribes entered Eretz Yisrael? But isn't it taught in the Brisa that Yair, the son of Menashe, and Machir, son of Menashe, were born in the days of Jacob, but they did not die until the Jewish people entered Eretz Yisrael, as it is stated, and the men of Ai killed of them about 36 men, Joshua 7 verse 5. And concerning this verse, it is taught, literally, 36 people were killed. This is the statement of Rabbi Yehuda. Amalo of Nehemiah. Bechinema shlosh v'shisha. Haloi nema ela kishlosh v'shisha. Ela ze Yair ben Menashe sheshakul keruba shel Sanhedrin. Rabbi Nehemiah said to him, but is it stated that 36 were killed? Isn't it stated nothing other than about 36 were killed? Rather, this unusual term is referring to Yair, son of Menashe, who was equivalent to the majority of the Sanhedrin, whose maximum number of judges is 71, of which 36 is a slight majority. Evidently then, Yair, son of Menashe, also survived the time in the wilderness. אלא אומר רב אחא בר יעקב, לא נגזרה גזרה על פחות מבין 20, ולא על 10 מבין 60, ולא על פחות מבין 20 דכסיב בין 20 שנה ומעלה, ולא על 10 מבין 60, גמר ומעלה, מערוכין, מעלה 10 מבין 60, כפחות מבין 20, אף כאן 10 מבין 60 כפחות מבין 20. Rather, Rav Acha bar Yaakov said the decree of death was not decreed either upon those less than 20 years old or upon those more than 60 years old. At the time of the sin of the spies, the Gemara explains, not upon those less than 20 years old, as it is written, for 20 years old and upward, Numbers 14:29, and not upon those more than 60 years old, because he learns that there is a verbal analogy between and upward, v'mala, umala, and the words and the verse cited and upward from the halachon evaluations in the phrase from 60 years old and upward, Leviticus 27 verse 7, just as there concerning valuations more than 60 years old is comparable to less than 20 years old, as there is a distinct category of those between the ages of 20 and 60. So to here, more than 60 years old is comparable to less than 20 years old, insofar as those older were not subject to the sentence. Yair, son of Menashe, who was already older, did not die in the wilderness. Iboy lahu Eretz Yisrael ishpatim Iplug oidilma lekar kaf gavri iplug. A dilemma was raised by the sages. Was Eretz Yisrael divided according to the tribes, meaning that each of the 12 tribes received an equal portion, and the members of each tribe divided these tribal portions according to their numbers? Or perhaps Eretz Yisrael was divided according to men's skulls, meaning that a certain area of land was given to each individual, and the size of the tribe allotments was a function of the tribe's population. Was it a population thing, or was it a physical geography thing? Dos is the Shaila.